refreshing to see your faces. This is my first time back on stage in 2 years, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but finally back on stage. Anyway, back on topic, Industry 4.0. So when a lot of people think about Industry 4.0, they automatically think of software and electronics. But I think there are tons of different spaces that could also benefit from Industry 4.0 technologies, like my space, plastics and material sciences. Our industries have been pretty much the status quo for decades, yet there's so much plastic waste piling up under our noses. The plastics industry, they've pretty much avoided repercussions for this by just creating the recycling system. So the Mobis loop, which is the real name, there's your trivia fact for the day. The Mobis loop, the recycling symbol with the little triangles, was introduced to the public in 1988. And that really didn't solve the plastics problem. It just kept things going and allowed them to greenwash and cover up what was really happening. But in the US, even though we're just 5% of the world's population, we're creating 25% of the world's trash. And we have to solve this problem. So if you've heard me speak before, you know I grew up in the plastics industry. My dad was on the founding team to create the first plastic bottles with handles incorporated, which are the milk jug gallons that we all use. And like I always say, I'm so proud of my dad and all his accomplishments in his career. For example, he's been retired for 20 years this year, and you can still go to almost any store and pick up products that he was part of. It's an amazing career. But at the same time, I feel guilty that my dad helped make the plastics crisis. So that's why I decided to work in the same industry space, plastics and material science, but put my own sustainable spin on things. And my co-founder, Raju, he has a similar story as well. He grew up in rural India, the son of a rice farmer. And he learned about all the waste that's in the agricultural industry. A lot of that waste is actually burned and creates an excessive amount of air pollution, sometimes hundreds of percent more than what the government feels is safe for people to breathe. So Raju and I met almost 11 years ago, actually by chance in a grocery store parking lot. And who knew that chance encounter in a grocery store parking lot would lead us to the opportunity to create the change we wanted to see in our world. And that's how Pivot Materials, our company, came to be. Pivot is a Detroit-based, woman-owned company that produces alternatives to traditional plastics by upcycling agricultural waste. We named our company Pivot because pivot means change, and that's exactly what we're doing to the plastics industry. And we've learned a few things along the way as entrepreneurs. One thing we've learned is that people love convenience. And also, we've learned that not just consumers want to see changes in the plastics industry, manufacturers, they want to see it too, as well as brand owners. So we provide the materials for that. That's where we come in. Our materials are made by mixing agricultural waste with traditional plastics or bioresins. Currently, we use bamboo fibers, we use rice hulls, and we use the waste from coffee manufacturing. In 2019, we were named one of the top 50 clean tech companies in the whole world to watch. And last year, I made the Forbes Next 1000 list. Just not bad, eh? Especially for something that came from a random chance of meeting someone in a grocery store parking lot. So even a global pandemic couldn't keep our entrepreneurial spirit down. So in June of last year, we launched another company together called Loopy Products. And Loopy is a sustainable home and housewares line that makes sustainable products with Loopy's materials that target hard or impossible to recycle products. And I'm very proud to share with you that by the end of this year, we'll be in almost 160 retail stores. But we still aren't done. So our version of Industry 4.0 might be a little bit different because it doesn't just focus on electronics and software. There are three things we want to focus on that involve interacting with our customers. So first, we want to build a community for our fans. We want to lean into product transparency, and we want to make better, more efficient end-of-life decisions for people's products and spent materials. So in essence, we want to create a community where people who are interested in sustainability and our materials can connect with each other through QR codes that will go on our products or our products packaging. We're just in the infancy of doing this, but when people scan these codes, they'll be able to get more information, like maybe where the waste in the products comes from. And we also want to be more transparent about materials, which I feel is really lacking in our industry space. So when people scan that QR code, we want them to see how much less plastic was used in our products versus something similar. And we want them to see how much agricultural waste was upcycled into those products. Plus, we want our consumers to see the change they made by them choosing to use our sustainable product versus something else. So lastly, we also want to empower people with more knowledge, right? We want to provide them choices on how to make better end-of-life decisions for products they use or spent materials they have. So they'll be able, through this system and Industry 4.0 technology, to connect with us when they are done with a product and can send it to us for upcycling. And we say upcycling, not recycling, because the current recycling system is pretty broken. And when you put something in there, you don't always know what it's going to be when it comes back out. But if we get it, we can take it and make it into a brand new, same level product to keep things going in the industry space. So next time you're thinking about Industry 4.0, don't just think about electronics and softwares. Think about novel, small companies like ours who are bringing change to industries who have been stagnant for decades. And if you haven't got a chance to yet today, please come over to our booth over there and see the world's first coffee mug made with coffee waste. Thank you.